Life flows on the river of purpose. We're all carried by the uncertainty of its own unfolding. Chasing purpose is all about nurturing faith, setting intentions, pursuing aspirations, all while living boldly. Chasing Purpose aims to inspire, uplift, and empower people through real-life stories. Stories that encapsulate life's memorable moments and enduring life lessons. Chasing Purpose with host Syntyche.
Migrating from the island of Barbados to work as an administrative assistant in hope of achieving the American dreams is no easy feat, nor is it for the faint of heart. Learning what it was to not just live somewhere new, but to learn the culture, adjust to the extreme weather conditions, grow to like the taste of the food, meet new people, to just fit in would be an uphill battle for this reserved Bajan. What my mom knew was that with her upbringing, her culture, her poise, her grit, coupled with her faith in God, she was determined not just to arrive, but to thrive in this new place and to take up space with her style and grace. As we continue to celebrate the resilience, strength, and accomplishment of women during Women's History Month, we look at how we continue to show up for ourselves, winning with style and grace. Welcome to Chasing Purpose, a journey of self-development, self-love, healing, and spirituality. Our aim is to empower and uplift you through thought-provoking conversations surrounding our four pillars: nurturing faith, pursuing aspirations, setting intentions, all while living boldly and stylishly. On last week's show, we were joined by the amazing Dawn Petgrave, who shared some gems on the topic, the power of sisterhood. Here is our purpose pull.
Think about it. How many times are we taught that it's okay to even empower a sister? So we see something in that person that we like, but instead of even drawing closer so you can rub off, and strengthen a little bit, we shy away.
Our candid conversation continues with the extraordinary Althea Laing. Althea is known for breaking many barriers and dominating the international modeling scene, gracing the pages of magazines, featured on the cover of Essence magazine twice. La Laing, as she was dubbed, would go on to be known as Jamaica's first homegrown, discovered, and nurtured international model. All right, for me, I'm honored. I'm so excited for this conversation. We are talking about a powerhouse. We're talking about a dream chaser. We're talking about someone that takes up space with style and grace, but went after her dreams. Guys, help me to welcome to Chasing Purpose the extraordinary Althea Laing. Althea, welcome to Chasing Purpose.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited too.
I mean, look at the bone structure. Look at this. You have dominated this scene for decades. Talk to us about your successful journey on the modeling scene.
At age 6, I would enter Easter bonnet parades every year in St. Elizabeth. And if my mother did not allow me to enter, I'd cry, carry on, have these tantrums, because there was something about the stage, something about being out there that meant so much to me. All right, let's fast forward, right, to like high school. In high school, I acted, I was on the choir, anything that demanded space, taking up space within the creative environment, all right? I did a play also. When I was 18, I played a lead juvenile role, one time, long time. Jamaica Playhouse Theatre, did the audition, and I got the part. But something changed in my life, I think, somewhere along the line when my dreams took backstage when I got married. I got married at 21. But at 21, I was still having this burning desire. I knew there was something that was missing out of my life. And I would say today, and to anyone, always follow your dreams, always follow your heart, because that is what's going to make you feel satisfied at the end of the day. Anyway, marriage never worked. I don't even go down that road again to discuss what happened. I'm a survivor, not a victim.
There you go.
So the fashion model pageant, I moved to Oterius. I worked at Shaw Park as entertainment manager. Then the ad came out for the fashion model pageant. I was like 28. Age limit 28. However, I would turn 29 in May of the year through, being in the pageant. So I entered the pageant, came in for my audition. Somehow I think I was ridiculed by some of the contestants because here I was, an older woman with a 7-year-old child coming to do this. Right. When I put on my swimsuit and I stepped out, I was like, okay then. Yes. Stomach flat, body look good. You understand me? They couldn't compete with me as far as I was concerned, right? Yes. I took up my space then. And I went in to see Mr. Cooper and Hillary and Barry at that point in time, Barry Moncrief. And I got a call like a week later that I was an entrant in the pageant. And I decided I wanted to win this thing. Win it, because I realized that black girls, the only black girl who had won a pageant before me was Joan McDonald. And my love for Joan McDonald was like, okay, girl, So I entered the pageant and I had my eyes set on taking that title. Throughout the pageant, the other contestants called me Dassa. Now, Dassa is that black, tough country girl from whatever it is coming from the country. But that did not deter me because I knew what my goals were. I knew what I wanted. And I continued throughout the pageant. Everywhere I went, I was contestant number 6. Mr. Cooper had to change me to contestant number 13 or 16, I think it was, because persons waited for me to come on stage in order to applaud and all the excitement. Final night, Pegasus Hotel. I'm backstage. I did my thing. I'm backstage and I heard, okay, best movement, Althea Laing. Most dynamic, Althea Laing. Best stage presentation, Althea Laing. And when they announced Miss Jamaica Fashion Model 1985, honestly, I did not hear. Hillary Phillips said, Althea, you are Miss Jamaica Fashion Model. And I went on that stage. Careless Whisper was being played. Careless Whisper was a song that my husband and I used to love to dance to. And just the thought that he was not here to see how I overcame all my struggles and how he might have treated me, and here I was, a winner on the stage that night. Interestingly, persons were coming to the stage wanting autographs and whatever, and I'm like, I never knew what my future would hold. So I decided that I really, now that I've taken it there, I want to go so much further. Yeah. I had always seen Essence magazine, and I said, I'd love to be on the cover of Essence magazine. We have to be careful what we put into the universe, because whatever we put into the universe, it comes back to us.
Good or bad.
Good or bad. So I got a call from a friend in Jamaica, and he said, Althea, guess who is here? I said, who? Essence magazine, they're here for a photo shoot. I was like, what? I said, all right, I come in. One of my students, he was the manager, general manager then, so I called him. I said, listen, your Essence magazine is there. I need 3 days at the hotel. Got dressed, stood by the bar, sat by the bar, and the photographer walked out, and I watched him as he turned his head, and he was like to the bartender, who is she? So he said, Miss Jamaica Fashion Model 1985. At that point, I knew what was happening, so I kind of
up and set the
perched,
stage,
yes, and said, okay, fine, let's see what happens here. He went inside, and then I saw him coming over with like 6 people, hairstylists, makeup artists, everybody, and they introduced themselves to me. And I was like, okay, no, this looks like something. They said, would you like to stay and see what is happening in terms of photo shoots and stuff? I said, okay, fine. I called Mr. Cooper and I said, Essence Magazine is here, they want to speak to you, whatever. But I really don't think Mr. Cooper thought that it really would have blown up that big.
Yeah.
They were there, I left and got back to Kingston. But I stayed in touch with them. One day I called and then I was told that they needed a chocolate girl. No one appears on Essence Magazine unless you're a celebrity. No one. It has never been done. I got on the next flight to New York City and I called and I said, Jamaica, where are you? How is Jamaica? I said, Jamaica is in New York.
Jamaica's in New York, honey, ready.
Then they said I was to stop by there on Broadway in the morning, and I went and they did Polaroids. Those days it was like Polaroids, did the Polaroids and everything. And a week later, I got a call from the fashion editor that they want to do a shoot with me, a test shoot to see what the cover would look like, what the magazine, I wasn't told it was the cover. Wow. So I went to do the test shoot, and like a week or two later, I was called. Susan Taylor said that they have to put me on the cover of the magazine because my look was just so different. In those days, you know, black girls were on the back burner. I remember actually going into New York, going to Vogue magazine as a fit model because I was not fit enough to be in the pages or on the cover of Essence magazine then. Now, when that cover came out in 1985, it was major. It was the largest circulation in the history of Essence magazine, even to today's date. Because last year I realized that they did a feature, their 50th anniversary feature, and the black models of the 90s, I was in that 50th anniversary, the #1 cover on that page. There were 10 covers with like Queen Latifah and all of that. This little girl from Jamaica, from Black River. Yes.
So in that, I am hearing confidence, knowing of self-worth, sure of self, having the foresight to be prepared, and when the opportunity presented itself, was able to strike. We're talking about, all right, you've left from wherever you were to make sure you were at the hotel.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You decided to, all right, you knew that something, you left the shores of Jamaica just to go into New York, internationally, not knowing whether or not you had the job or even the opportunity.
Yes. Correct.
I hope you guys, I didn't say this in the beginning, please make sure that you are journaling, you're writing things down, because Althea is coming to drop gems. We have so much to talk about. I mean, I heard colorism in there. I heard just so much things that I want to really drill down and dial down into. We are talking about winning with style and grace. Miss Laing is the epitome of that. When we come back from the break, more with Althea Laing. Welcome back to Chasing Purpose, heard right here on the Bridge 99 FM in Jamaica and in the New York tri-state area on Irie Jam Radio. We are talking about winning with style and grace with the extraordinary Althea Laing. Althea, what has kept you anchored in your confidence despite the body complexion shamers?
My father always taught me that I am black but comely. He also coined the phrase that I was his star girl. Interestingly, we have to be careful what we speak over our children. Because he kept on saying it, oh, star girl, come here, star girl, star girl, star girl. And evolved, it was so concretized in my spirit that I had to be someone special. I'm the darkest of my brothers and sisters. So I kind of felt at maybe up to age 10 that I was a little different because I was real dark-skinned. But my grandfather used to call me black gal. So I said, oh, there is something here that's special about me, both in my father's eyes and my grandfather's eyes. And whatever it is, I'm not going to allow that to be a barrier in terms of achieving my goals and dreams and becoming the woman that I want to be. Which is why I'm so committed to working with the young girls in Jamaica every summer, having my summer program, empowering them in terms of and I focus a lot about who am I and speak to them on the color of their skin and to embrace exactly who they are.
Growing up, for me, I know quite a few beautiful, I saw them as beautiful dark-skinned girls, but they hated the color of their skin. Absolutely hated the color of their skin. And at that time, bleaching wasn't a thing, but anything they could do to deflect or to hide behind.
Yes, and some persons wore lighter foundation and stuff like. No, I never had a problem with my skin. I never did, particularly when I was in New York. I found like the Italian men just thought I was everything, you know.
Yeah, that's always
and in Jamaica, the situation with Jamaican men, I saw it in my marriage. When they elevate, they take onto themselves some brown skin person who is not necessarily maybe half as wonderful as you are, right? But for them, they need to have this appendage, I call them, in order to make them relevant in society. So I do have, because of all of those hurdles, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty confident with who I am, and it's going to take a special man who will understand and appreciate the woman that I have. And I said to my granddaughter the other day, if it's a white man, it doesn't matter. The fact is, I think we need to get to the stage, particularly our Jamaican men, in appreciating the beauty in our black women.
I want you to appeal to a young woman right now, or young women right now that are coming up, and men too. The colorism lies across the board, who are struggling with their complexion, who are thinking about maybe they should bleach their skin or they should, dumb down their beautiful complexion. Appeal to them, please.
I am 66 and I have no reservations. Right? Because the melanin in my skin has allowed me to maintain my beauty. Call me enough, call me whatever you think.
Absolutely not.
I am saying today that the melanin in my skin has kept me going and has, as a matter of fact, I think I'm ageless. I cannot be defined as ageless. So it is very important for them to understand that we have been given our particular skin type, skin color, based on what the Lord saw that we needed to have to work with, right? And within that space, we need to understand the beauty that is within. And beauty is not necessarily outside, because I find it so horrid to see these people with black feet and brown faces and pink and yellow underneath, and it is revolting to actually see it, right? And it's a problem in society because they say when you're brown, you're going to move up and whatever it is. Moving up, achieving your dreams, getting to where you want to be has to do with how you feel about yourself. And if you bleach, whatever color you are, you need to understand that you have to identify with the beauty within, and that beauty within will radiate, and we get to the point where we're able to encapsulate all our needs, our hopes, our dreams, and our desires once we start feeling good in the skin that we are in.
So much was said in there, but it really does start within. How you feel about yourself, really, it radiates from the inside.
Yeah.
Right. So you're right. To those who are out there bleaching, or maybe, you know, they're confused or conflicted about your skin color, we appeal to you to just look within, do the work that you need to make sure that you are understanding that you are beautiful, no matter the skin color, no matter what, you are beautiful. It starts inside. Althea, how do you define your style?
Elegant, classy, and I like to be original, really. Elegant style, graceful, classy. That is my style.
Yeah. It's the answer for me. Elegant, classy, and may I add, timeless. You're absolutely gorgeous. And just like you said, whatever is within, that beauty that is within, is radiating on you.
Thank you.
At no point could nobody tell me what your age is. I mean, just there's an energy also that you carry that I'm just like, when I get to that age, this is exactly bone structure and everything, y'all. Althea ain't come to play. All right, winning with style and grace. How do you wake up every day with a winning mindset?
It's not every day that I have a winning mindset.
Thank you for that candid answer.
All right.
Thank you.
It is very important, though, that what has happened over the years is that I know that it's a new day. And with it comes new opportunities. And if I face challenges throughout that day, my source is coming from my connection with the Supreme, right? And I found in the last 10 years, I have drawn so much closer to God, and I have seen Him doing so many things and giving me that inner peace in spite of all of the challenges. So I go through each day, and each morning I wake up, I make my affirmation, bless me indeed and enlarge my territories, right? And I find that some things are happening to me, particularly in the last year, that it's just shocking me, the goodness and the grace of God. He has been keeping me. I suppose it's His grace, but each day I get through it. I manage to get through it because I know I can draw my strength from another source. What happens, is that too many times we're busy trying to do things ourselves, right? He has said that He will not leave us or forsake us. Yes. And that's a promise that God has given us. And we ought not to try to do things on our own. The strength, right? He's our strength. He's our hope. He's our shield. And having that foundation now, even more than ever, it gives me just a joy and a peace knowing that He's going to come through for you. He's going to come through for you.
If you don't mind, I'm going to steal or borrow. Bless me
Indeed, and enlarge my territories and keep me from evil, so it will not harm me. Deuteronomy.
Wow, strong foundation. A strong foundation also is very, very important on our journey, any journey that we're on. Have you ever encountered fear on this journey?
Yes, fear. I encountered fear, and during my marriage, and honestly, I really don't want to go back there because I have put it now in my past. And I found that when I kept on reliving the experience, it made me bitter. And I have released that. And I think having released that, there is so much more new and positive energy that's coming my way. Yes, I'm attracting. Yeah, so awesome. That's the only time I felt real fear because it was abusive and I didn't know exactly what he would do at any particular moment in time. But I took control, I took charge, I walked away and I found myself. Such a pity that when I won Miss Jamaica Fashion Model, he died like 2 months before.
And on that note, Althea, talk to us about a time in your career where you felt difficulties you've had to overcome.
Interestingly, it happened in Jamaica. After I won the Miss Jamaica Fashion Model Pageant, Lenny Little White had wanted me to do the Sea Breeze ad. Incidentally, I've never done an advertisement in Jamaica for any product whatsoever.
Why is that?
Lenny had told me that the client felt that it would be very difficult to light me. Incidentally, in New York, they found whatever it is they needed to light me in order to create my 2 covers. So Jamaica, and I'm going to say it with no apologies, Jamaica is, on one hand, colorism exists, classism exists. And if you are dark-skinned in Jamaica, you manage to go through the doors of the social climbing, social ladder because of the money that you have. I have watched people embrace Usain Bolt. Under normal circumstances, they would not. Right? Because he is a black boy from the country. He has done exceptionally well. And as a result, I love him, I admire him. Doors open for him now because of who he is and what he might have had in terms of his wealth and all of this. In our society in Jamaica, the classism I mentioned before, but the colorism is very real. And black girls like myself, and people say, Lord, she's talking about black, 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 black. But honestly, it is a real problem. Unless we get to the point where we love ourselves, appreciate ourselves, and see beauty, right? In our real dark-skinned, chocolate, fabulous, wonderful women, we do have a problem in this country. So even the advertising industry in Jamaica, it's only recently that they have started pushing darker skinned people. Years ago, it never happened. You had to be almost white and blonde and whatever it is. It's really sad.
It is.
But my duty each summer is to meet with these young ladies and say, listen, love who you are. There are so many young people who come in, people at school, say they're black, say they hear tough, and you know, there are so many things that they have to cope with within even the school communities, and it's very sad.
How do we how do we start the conversation to even change this narrative?
I had actually written a proposal for the Ministry of Education years ago under Maxine Henry Wilson. I think she was the minister then. It was approved for the work to be done in terms of going in, sensitizing these people, young people, so that they come up with a more positive outlook and confidence. It was shut down after 6 months because somebody saw that there was some money that they could get to move into a program that they wanted to do. So that was the end of my program. I have made, Jamaica is a very political country. And in spite of the fact that you are talented, you're able to contribute to the society, if you're neither green nor orange, or they can't identify what you are, they will not use you based on your talents. And I came back to Jamaica, because I have my talents to share. But because of my political affiliations or lack of political affiliations, I'm sidelined. But when the Lord decides that it is my time, there is nothing on earth anybody can do to stop it. Because right now I am in my season and I'm putting it out there, and everything that I want, I'm going to get it.
Timeless, ageless. It doesn't matter when it is your time, no matter when it is your time. Althea, I don't even know if you realize you're showering me right now with all these gems. Your presence it's mystical, I want to say. There's something that's absolutely, there's grace and style, just everything amazing about you. And thank you for, we're not at the end of the show, don't worry, but I just want to thank you for what you've brought to the table, for the eyes that you're opening now in your season, for taking up space. You took up space, and kudos to your grandfather and your father. I think it started there. Them speaking that confidence and speaking that you are beautiful, that you are a star girl. Guys, it starts at the home.
Yes,
it starts in the home. Look, before we all get teary-eyed here, I have to jump to a quick commercial break. More on Chasing Purpose and the beautiful Althea Laing when we get back. Welcome back to Chasing Purpose. I certainly hope you guys are being filled like I am being filled by the awesome presence of Althea Laing. Today we are talking about winning with style and grace, but there's so much to be said. I'm hearing a murmur of a part 2. Lord knows I would be welcoming the aspect of that. Althea, you touched on something before we went to break as it pertains to colorism, and we were just quickly before I went to break talking about it really starting from home. It was really in your home at a young age that you were being poured into, you were being nurtured, right?
Yes, yes.
And I think that is important to our parents out there, to those who are rearing children, that are role models, mentors, so on and so forth. Pour positivity, speak blessings over your children. The outcome is this: confidence, grace, poise, taking up space, positive space. Look, I can go on and on, but let's continue with the interview. Althea, how do you measure success?
Success for me is the lives that you have touched. It's not wealth, it's not the materialistic things that we have, accessories, whatever. It is touching lives to me, which is why I went back into education. And I taught for so many years, which is why I still tutor at home in spite of everything else that I'm doing. Which is why I have summer programs, I do motivational talks. That is success. When I walk into a room and somebody says to me, the other day, I was actually out dining, and the waitress came and said, "Miss, what you drinking?" So I told her, and she said, "The gentleman over there said he's buying you a drink." I said, "Okay, fine," and I told her what I wanted. And I said, "Tell him to turn around, because I need to see who was buying me this drink." This was a young man who almost got expelled from high school, who I asked the principal to give me control of him, who ended up with 4 subjects. Yes. He turned around and he saw me, and I smiled, and he just started, "You see that woman there? And she met me who me is today." And I mean, I had to embrace and be locked, and he said, "Miss Laing, I love you, I love you. Wouldn't understand what you have done for me." So for me, that is success. Seeing all my students, the persons whose lives I've impacted, doing very, very well. Yeah. That is how I measure success.
Yeah, that sounds about right. What advice would you give to others who are heading in a similar direction as modeling?
My granddaughter, Sydney, is signed, I don't know, to Saint International, but I told her the most important thing is to get her career first. Career. They need to understand really that this is a journey where you'll have your ups and your downs. Nobody gets into the industry. I was lucky to get into the industry, and my first job was a cover, right? Yes, yeah. You have to struggle. But I'm begging you girls who want to do modeling, do not give up of yourselves. Yes. Nobody has to take advantage of your body in order for you to get jobs or to be placed else. Your body is a temple, right, of the living God. And I have walked away from stuff in New York because I refused. You see, my nose skin up. I refused to be a party to anything like that.
There are so many young women right now who are doing the exact opposite of what Miss Laing just said. Your body is your temple. You do not need to do anything that you to advance yourself more than what it is that you set out to do. So if it is modeling that you're going to be doing, whatever it is, let no one veer you off your path. Do not defile your body. Do not give yourself away. Do not lose yourself on this journey. And I think another critical point is to have the career, to know what it is that you want to do. Career. Yeah, because it's not every story is going to be like this one, where you win at 29, right? Because at 29 is a bit old. Yeah. To win a competition such as that, and then to not be a fit model, not just be in the pages, but to cover an international magazine twice. Okay, girls. Let's keep our head on our shoulders. All right, Althea, looking back, what advice would you give to your 13-year-old self?
Wow. I would tell my 13-year-old self to do everything that she wants to do in terms of her academics. And I would I'd get married maybe at this point in my life. I wouldn't get married at 21.
No rush.
So no rush. Very important that we get all the things that we want before we decide to make that choice. And we need to understand also too that it is not about that physical attraction. For me now, I realize the mental attraction is what matters. I must be able to communicate with you and all of that, because sex begins in your mind.
Yeah. A lot of people do not realize that, that sex is a mental thing, and the exchange of energies.
Ooh, you go, girl.
The exchange of sexual energies is very important.
Very.
So when you engage in sex, when that penetration happens, you take on that person's energy.
Yes, this is something that I tell persons all the while, and I also say to them that we need to understand that we cannot put on mileage on our sexual speedometers.
Part 2, y'all. It's gonna be a part 2. I mean, yes, and yes. Yeah, we're gonna leave it there because this is daytime, nighttime show. So, you have made your home a refuge for children, which you spoke about earlier. That gentleman that saw you and was just enthralled and just so grateful for what you've done for him. Speak to us about that initiative.
All right, what happened was that I was teaching at Bel Air High School, and there was a particular young lady who came from Bermuda. And she had some behavioral challenges. She was actually staying with somebody else, and there was a challenge. And her family called me and asked me if I could take her in. And at that time, I had my 2 grandchildren who I was raising, plus my youngest son. The young lady came, and she spent like 5 years with me. During that 5 years, I had about a set of twins, a young boy who was giving a lot of problems. I ended up having like 14 children living with me during that period. But for Shayla, Shayla is now an attorney.
Look at that.
Right, in Bermuda, Shayla was considered maybe the least likely to succeed. But I believed in her. I knew she would make it. Every birthday, every Christmas, whatever, she just calls to check in on me. So all of that, it really is a wonderful experience having poured into the lives of these children, and I don't regret it. I really haven't regretted it. My grandchildren, I raised them also, and for me, everybody was like, you can take up Grand Pitney and whatever it is. My blood, my heart, my love could not allow myself to see anything happen to them.
Of course.
So they were in my care, and I'm very happy.
Yeah, I mean, those persons, a lot needs to be left to desire for those persons.
There's some persons who just do not believe that when you have your grandchildren, that if anything were to happen, that you ought to help them. There's some selfish people who still exist, 'cause
well, thank God that is not you.
No. And maybe that's why I'm getting all these blessings.
Yes. Yeah. And I keep thinking back to your grandfather and your father. and them speaking over you and just kind of instilling what the values that they have that we're now seeing and that are now so present and attracting what you're attracting. You know, again, it is not an easy feat. There are girls right now that are vying just to get into the foot of the door, much less cover a magazine. You know, but there's something there is something here. But thank you for your gifts. You know, I think that you. I don't know, I'm like speechless and I'm speaking all over myself because I'm enamored by what sits beside me here and just taking up this space. As we talk about style and grace, it is just emitting from you. And I'm sucking the energy, guys. I'm sucking the energy. All right. Are you chasing your purpose or have you found your purpose?
I have found my purpose. Oh, mercy. I think I'm still chasing my purpose. There's so much more that's out there for me. For example, I was sitting at home minding my own, drinking water, minding my own business. And I got a call from, there's this new organization in St. Anne, the Alliance International Medical Limited. New, fabulous, everything. It's a trailblazing medical facility in Jamaica. And I was called by the boss and he offered me the position of sales and marketing manager. And I was like, at this moment in time when I thought like, okay, fine, let me just relax and whatever it is, but there must have been something that he saw, the organization saw in me. And I used to do sales as a life insurance agent and I did quite well. So it's just taking me back on another part of my journey, a whole other journey.
So someone that is of your age, right? There are a lot of people that are of your age and they feel like, all right, now it's time for retirement. It's time for me to go sit on one side. And what do you say to that?
That's what makes them old, right? I will be interacting with younger people. And I need to understand that there's, for older people to realize that there's so much more. My mother is 96, and alive. One gorgeous 96-year-old.
I mean, I can only imagine.
Right? And I have so many years left in me in terms of doing things and making things happen and impacting lives and being a part of another trailblazing experience for me is really, really awesome because I really like trailblazing. When I'm through with Alliance International Medical, which might not be for now, then I would have made my mark again in an innovative medical facility.
It all boils down to mindset. That is what I am getting. That is the thread throughout today's conversation. There are days, there are times, there was a period in your life where you didn't know whether you were coming or going for whatever reason, but you knew that you were going to win. You had that mindset. From your parents, your grandparents, they were pouring into you from then and speaking over you that you were going to win, right?
You have to win. During that period in the 90s with Syntyche, I was Syntyche, but guess what? I saw people rolling over, dying, getting heart attack, so disturbed that they're losing material stuff. When you have an overdraft for 30,000, which becomes 10 million, right? And people are writing you. I knew that there was no way I was ever going to pay 10 million because I know who I serve. You understand me? And it went down to 1 million. I had a van and I had my BMW, right? So I gave them the van and I said, take that van and sell it. I gave them $150,000. That was the end of that big old 10 million story. So the thing about it is that we can't allow these challenges and to get overwhelmed because there is a way out. Yes. There's always a way out. And I have seen so many persons still so stressed out that they lost the house and this, but you can get another one, right? Yeah. Mine wasn't even about a house. It was $30,000 overdraft at a merchant bank, which became 10 million in that period. And so many persons, I'm telling you, died earlier than maybe they would have if they did not have take on the stress of that. So I don't allow things to stress me, because I've always said that I don't want to have any lines and wrinkles.
And honey, she doesn't.
I refuse to.
On that note, we're going to jump to a quick commercial break. More with Althea Laing when we get back, y'all. Welcome back to Chasing Purpose. We are talking about winning with style and grace. My Bridge family, Bridge Nation, my Irie Jam family. Boy, I can't tell you how excited I am about today's episode. Woo! Althea Laing dropping gems throughout. Althea, I keep saying thank you, but thank you.
Thank you.
How do you empower others to show up for themselves?
It's very difficult, because some persons do not know who they are, particularly with this social media, IG, superficiality. Nobody's showing up for themselves anymore. They're showing up for other people. And that is just so sad. You know, we have to understand, one of the reasons why I moved from Kingston years ago was because I thought everybody was just too superficial. You walk into a room and my spirit just couldn't deal with it anymore. I moved to a little country and live and just enjoy my life. If I want, I come into Kingston and go out with my friends, because I have a very small circle. But we need to just change our mindset. We go back to changing our mindset again. We're living our lives vicariously through others, and it needs to stop, because we will end up trying to own vehicles that we can't really afford. The latest style that I see is that persons are taking pictures with their branding, showing of their Louis Vuitton or the Yves Saint Laurent, or these, some of them are knockoffs for real.
Oh, yes.
So we need to just get real, get back to that place where we are comfortable in our space and we do not need to be validated by others. That to me is how you show up for yourself.
Wow. Well, I mean, that's, yes. Social media has impacted, and social media is a good and a bad thing, but this living for others instead of living for ourselves is a problem.
It's a big problem.
It's almost like an epidemic or a pandemic unto itself, because we're wanting to please others.
Likes and more likes, and buying likes to be liked. And
anyway, instead of loving ourselves, right? Something that is critical on any journey that you're on in this game called life. The loving of yourself and nurturing of yourself is super critical. Having compassion, does that play a vital role in how you win with style and grace?
Yes, I'm a very compassionate person, and I make no apologies for that. I reach out, I help, I have so much love to give, and I realize that the more love I give is the more blessings and the more love that is returned. So on this journey called life, yes, I've made a lot of sacrifices for my grandchildren. Honestly, I have been castigated by some of my friends. The parents alive and they need to take care of the children. But like I said before, I have to do what I have to do. I have to give them all the love that they need. I have to be there for them. And in doing that, there are persons also who will just come by the house and, Miss, I need so and so, and I'll go in my cupboard and I'll take out whatever it is that they might need to cook a meal or something like them. Because I remember times when maybe I had that own experience of having challenging times. And I want people to understand that, as Richie Stephens says, valleys will teach you lessons that hilltops know nothing about, right? Yes. And I've learned a lot in my valleys. I have been on a hilltop, I've learned a lot in my valleys, and these experiences are what I'm taking now, and they are going to take me to the next level because I have totally learned the lessons.
All right, she keeps drawing me in with her, it's just addicting. Let's talk about your style, right? We're talking about winning with style and grace and what that looks like. Your style, who's dressed you today?
Heather Laing dresses me all the while, because what I find about Zoe and Sharon is that they know my style in terms of being elegant, the fact that I like classic pieces because I should be able to wear them 5 or 6 years from now, and it's nobody's business if I want to wear it 10 times because it's mine and I've paid for it. You understand? So this drama that persons have in terms of, oh, I wore that already. No, my love, if I feel like drawing for it tomorrow, I draw for it again because it makes me feel good. So Heather Laing does like leisure wear, casual wear, formal wear, and they will design stuff for you for a specific occasion.
Yeah, love that, love that. How does one win gracefully in your opinion?
Do I know about winning gracefully? Let me think about it. Winning gracefully simply means that one strives to achieve without telling others that they have achieved. Humility. Winning gracefully, your humility is very critical to winning gracefully. Humility. Because honestly, I can tell you, when I walked in New York, in Manhattan, and I saw my face on every newsstand, and it blew my mind, and I stood up and I was crying because I had won gracefully. And a gentleman said, "Isn't that you on the cover of the magazine?" And I said, "I think so, I think so." And then he said, "You're so beautiful." And guess what? This is something that I had not really heard in Jamaica. Somebody, you could have heard the fact that he was absolutely enamored with me when he said, "You're just so beautiful." And those words I have taken with me for the rest of my life, because the truth is, I look in the mirror in the mornings, before I leave, and I say, "Darling, you're fabulous. I'm out of here. I don't care what you want to say when I get out of there. That's your problem." I look in my mirror speaks to me, and I speak to my mirror, and I head out to face the world. It is critical. You don't need anybody to define you. You define yourself. You have a mirror.
Yes.
Look in that mirror and just love what you see. And then there are persons who say, "Lord, she fool herself." Because guess what? Packaged is a confident black woman, and they don't normally see confidence and black all together in one package.
We have to change that. We are going to change that one step at a time. See the package here? The start here, right? And again, it starts with self. Look into that mirror. What do you say? You look into the mirror and say what?
You go, girl, in other words.
Finger snaps and all.
Snap. Yes, I'm fabulous and I'm out of there. Yes, I have learned that because, and I didn't want to go there, but at one point in my life, particularly through my marriage, I felt that something was wrong with me, right? Because how could this person decide that they want to have a relationship with somebody else when, a lighter skinned person? So I said, "Jesus, something wrong with me now. I wonder whatever. And then I just shook it off and stepped out.
Yes.
And I conquered.
Yes.
I came, I saw, and I conquered.
Okay. She came, she saw, she conquered. And I think keep saying it, it goes back to grandpa and daddy instilling and pouring into you guys. It starts at home. What is next for Althea Laing?
Ooh, I have a line of sandals that I started recently, leather, Laing sandals. Laing, yeah, because that name was given to me by Chester Francis Jackson. And I am looking forward, I'm excited about Alliance International Medical as Sales and Marketing Manager. That to me is everything now. I'm pouring everything into that because I want to see it happen. It's going to be oncology, radiology, so many exciting things, general practice, and it's at the Draxall Center. So we're having our launch March 25th. A lot of wonderful things are happening.
And we'll look out for that.
Yes, and I really, honestly, plus summer, again, we have another Althea Laing grooming program in the summer because it's been what? From 1992 when I came back, I've been having these workshops.
And how can people reach out?
They reach out via my email, Althea Laing Image 2019 @gmail.com. Call 521-0405 or Althea_Laing on IG. So those are the contacts for me. So I'm looking forward to everybody really reaching out to me because this is something that has to happen. As a matter of fact, I would also want to have audience with the Ministry of Education regarding having this incorporated in their curriculum at every level in the educational system.
Did you see how she just did that? Like, did you Althea, this is not going to be the last time you see her, okay? She's going to be back on Chasing Purpose. Thank you so much for being a part of today's show.
Thank you for having me. Oh. And you know, interestingly, I watch you and I sat in the house one day and I said, you know, I'm going to be on that show. I said that like 3 months or so ago. I said, I'm going to be on Chasing Purpose. I didn't reach out.
No.
You realize how the universe got us together?
Self-worth, dignity, class, elegance, etiquette, aims setting, goals crushing, dream chasing, resilience, tenacity, and staying true to yourself. Not dimming your light even when the times are hard. Women, I salute you. And in the words of the great B.I.G., to all the ladies in the place with style and grace, wishing you love, light, and purpose.